episode 20 of A Trouble Shared, a podcast where two comedians try and heal the world by solving one of your troubles one at a time. My name is Johnny Cochrane, and I am joined by someone who never goes looking for trouble, yet it always seems to find her. It's Twayna Mayne. How you doing, Twayna?
I'm good, Johnny. I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for asking. How are you? How was parents' evening?
Yeah, good. Do you know, I'm actually... We always play a game, don't we, of whether we can peel behind the curtain. I'm here for anyone who is that much of an avid fan of this podcast, wearing the same attire as I was during the last record. And people are going to start that vicious rumour that we've been doing batch cooking with some of those multiple records at once. And so I wouldn't be able to tell you how parents' evening was. However, I'm not giving in to that, and I'm saying parents' evening was wonderful. My son was he got a rave review to honour. Yeah, that was last week. So yeah, no, he's it went really well. Went really
Good.
well.
I
How
thought
are
it
you
would
doing,
do.
Twayna? Have you got any other clothes, or is
I've only got one top. I've just got my podcast jumper that I've put on again this week.
Have we essentially got a uniform? A podcast
I think so.
uniform?
Essentially, I just tend to wear a lot of black. So I'll just tend, throughout all of this, will be in a lot of black. And then sometimes I might be in a hat because my hair's a mess. So 2 weeks in a row, I've been in black and my hair's pretty neat. So, yeah, but I do think we have a bit of a uniform. I think you wear more colour than me, though.
Broadly speaking,
yeah.
I'm someone who likes a bit of green. I've always been that way. Like a bit of green, and I like a bit of colour every now and then. I really do.
Yeah.
Even a bit of yellow every now and then. But what about you? Are you more? You just want to be able to blend into the background and assassinate your targets and go about your day.
Yeah, Johnny. Yeah. Finally, somebody's noticed what I'm doing. I'm an assassin walking amongst you all. And some of you don't realise that you're living on borrowed time, because I'm sussing out your moves, where you are, where you'll be at lunchtime. And then I'm just like, one of these days I'm going to go in for the kill. On A Trouble Shared, no one is going to get murdered. We are not murderers. I am not an assassin. Just in case somebody, one person in particular, ends up dead in the coming days or weeks. That's all I'm saying.
Nothing to do with you.
It's nothing to do with me. I was around my mum's.
And then you might start wearing some colour after that.
Yeah.
There's a body in your wake.
Turn up in orange. You're like, she's done it. She's done a hit. She's killed someone. I'm not saying, because I'm not a murderer. I don't want to kill anybody apart from one person. But I won't kill them, because if I would have done it, I would have done it ages ago. But yeah, no, I'm fine, Johnny. I'm fine.
Yeah, this is starting to sound like my namesake's Johnny Cochrane's defense of O.J. Simpson there. Like, if I was going to do it, or O.J. Simpson himself is, this is how I would have gone. Okay, a brief little intro then, because we just had a good little preamble there. A trouble of ours. One thing I learned, interesting thing, something that a 10-year-old boy brought to the scientific community, an experiment he's done, that has revealed that memories, certainly in butterflies, but that might, transpose up to higher forms of life, can actually be transferred through generations. So if there was something that one generation of butterflies had associated, their children might have the same memory, though not having it visually. They have the instincts that were generated by a previous generation. That's interesting, isn't it? And the trouble off of that is I just worry about some of the memories that I might have given my children. And, they might be scared of irrational. It seems irrational, but
is it a 10-year-old boy has discovered this?
Yes, yeah.
What 10-year-old child? What the hell? How's he work? What? No comment.
I was just playing PlayStation at that age, but he's out there creating new frontiers in our scientific understanding of the world. So there you go. It's something I listened to and found out today. It's interesting, though. It is interesting because you can be like, all right, your memories might go forward. Like, for instance, if you had been attacked by a dog, then your children be overly scared of dogs, because it's almost been imbued into your genes. So it's interesting,
Not
isn't
you
it?
just sitting there, just running away in the park every time you see a dog. Not just the reality. I'm not disputing it because I didn't listen to it, but I also just find this is interesting. But it's also get this kid out and just running around in the park and just hanging out with other 10-year-olds, and nerding is fine, but also not too much nerding.
Exactly. And let's be honest, mate, if you do have any kids, if there are any people willing to be in a relationship with you, then they're probably gonna have some memories of you of just being like, oh, I'm alone and my only mates are butterflies. Oh well, what a shame. Do you know what I mean? Hopefully they can have some more social skills. Anyway, I don't want to slag off a 10-year-old boy. Why should I? He's done great stuff. Are you ready to start dishing out some solutions to some troubles here, Twayna?
Yes, Johnny, I am.
Let's get involved then, shall we? Here we go. My partner is so lazy and messy that I often feel like his servant. Although I've asked him repeatedly to help around the flat, he never does his bit. I'm 32 and he's 28. We've been in a gay relationship for 8 years, living together for free. I knew he was untidy when we first moved in together, but I thought he'd make an effort to keep our place nice. He does nothing at all. I do all the cleaning, washing, shopping, cooking, and DIY. I've started to feel really resentful. It's affecting our sex life too. I hate coming home from work to find the living room in a state. He leaves his clothes all over the bedroom floor and drops his wet towels in the middle of the bathroom. I've talked to him about it several times, saying how fed up I am and that sometimes it would be nice if he would look after me. He makes an effort for a couple of days and then reverts to his old habits. He says he doesn't mind the mess, so it's my problem, not his. We love each other, but I'm starting to think I should break up with him. What do you reckon, Twayna?
Break up with him. Just break up with him. This doesn't sound like much fun. And he can only keep the place neat and tidy for a couple of days and he goes back. This man doesn't sound like he is capable of changing or wants to change. It's affecting your mental health by the sound of it, and also your sex life. You sound miserable. Split up with him. Split up with him and move out and go and find somewhere else to live. Maybe on your own in a house share with other people. Yeah, but not with this person. It sounds incredibly awful. This would do my absolute head in, Johnny.
Yeah, you'd have to ask what you're staying with him for. The deteriorating sex. I mean, I'm only staying with you for that. Oh, right, that's gone downhill as well. Apart from that, you are doing everything. You're keeping the train on the tracks, as it were, and this person is giving less and less of a shit as time goes on. And I have a little bit of a split on this to a certain extent. The one thing I would say is that he's always been this way. And my general default position is if you get with someone and they show you who they are and it's you who's gone into it thinking you're going to change them, then that's basically your fault. You've chosen to be with them and you think that they're a reclamation project. And guess what? Not everyone wants to change. However, what I would say is that as time goes on, life changes and people should show you that they can adapt as well. And if you're in a serious relationship and you're treating it like you're staying in a hotel, they're providing very little, then obviously what you're explaining is their attractiveness goes down to you, because actually then, what are they actually offering as a long-term partner? And suddenly, whether you find them attractive or not, from a sex point of view, is not the be-all and end-all. And so I would definitely say that, like Twayna, you need to have some real hard conversations and say, literally, if you're not up in this now, we're calling it a day because I'm not happy in this. And unless he can do it on the first go of asking, because that would mean that he's taking it seriously enough, then just call it off. Because after that, you have to say, listen, you take him as you find him, and that's clearly not someone you want over a longer period. You know what I mean? But maybe barring that, maybe just get a cattle prod, one of those electric things, and just go around just like zapping them all the time. And before you know it, it might actually, it might generate a little bit more motivation around the place.
It's a bit of shock therapy. Take him as you find him. Yeah, in his own filth. It just doesn't sound like he's a knight in shining armor that you might have thought he was when you met him on an app, and then you went out for a few drinks, and then you dated him for a while. I mean, they've been together for 8 years and lived together for 3. You would have seen his other arrangements before you lived with him. 5 years of dating before you lived together would have told you that he was a mucky pup already. So you moved in with him. So you were sort of hoping possibly that he would, after dating him for 5 years and him being a filthy bugger, that he'd actually suddenly overnight would magic into just like a fully evolved, clean and tidy adult human. And that's not happened. And so now you're really furious because you've moved in and you're doing all the work. So, like, we don't want to really blame you, but also like Johnny said, like, what you're sticking around for, like, the less sex than before. It's like, there doesn't sound like there's much in this apart from somebody possibly paying half your rent, in which you can just get somebody else to pay half your rent when you move in somewhere else. So, yeah, and then maybe you can have sex with somebody else. But yeah. I think this one is possibly on the way out. This relationship
on the way out, and you ain't got much time for your deteriorating sex anyway, because you're fucking busy doing everything: washing, cleaning, shopping, cooking, and DIY. So to get them out, you're busy anyway, and it's not worth throwing bad money after good with that one. Doesn't seem like that relationship is a goer. Moving on to the next trouble here, Twayna.
I'm 17 and have feelings for a 31-year-old. He's everything I look for. Am I too young to tell him how I feel?
Nice and snappy, that one. So, sorry, I'm 17. He's everything I look for. What the fuck do you know what you look for? You're 17. How do you know that a 31-year-old's got everything you look for? What has a 31-year-old got? What are you looking for that a 31-year-old has?
Somebody with a full driving license.
Exactly. Facial hair.
Yeah, somebody's got doesn't get pocket money from their mum and has a job. Somebody doesn't go to school because he's got a job.
Yeah. And do you know another thing you might be looking for? Someone who is out of prison. Yeah. Someone who's not going to start getting investigated for inappropriate relationships. Yeah. Granted, it might, in this country, it would be legal. But when you start getting, this 31-year-old picking you up from college, get a grip on yourself. Do you know what I mean? And we all know someone like that as well. Those people used to get away with it a lot. I remember back in the days of school where there were people like 18-year-old, 19-year-old boys picking up their 14, 15-year-old girlfriends. Oh. And it's just acceptable paedophilia, wasn't it, at that point? And don't get me wrong, I'm not too, like, if you're a 16-year-old boy and a 15-year-old girl, it's very hard to adjudicate that. But you start getting like 5, 6 years older, people are legal voting age.
Yeah, and one of you is an adult. One of you is an adult. This relationship, there's somebody well into adulthood, and there's somebody at this precise moment can't get married without their parents' permission, cannot vote. I don't think you can join the army without your parents' permission. There's you need your parents' permission until you're 18, and even when you're 18, you're really young. Like, yeah, you can do everything legally, but you are still so young. And also, like, the fact that there's a 31-year-old man who may have feelings for you as well, because this might just be a one-way thing. There's somebody sort of seen somebody that's older than them and really likes them because they seem to have their shit together. But let's say that the feelings are moving both ways, right? Which it's always just like, that's a bit of an alarm bell, because what happens is with these kind of guys is you'll get too old for them at some point, and then they'll go back again to the beginning to another 16, 17, 18-year-old. These kind of men are always hovering around barely adult young women. It's like Johnny said, we all know about these kind of people because we've all come across these people, especially when we were young, when we were sort of that age, and somebody in our peer group or in our school year that was all going on.
turning up the school gates with their Vauxhall Novas and their spinning rims.
Yeah.
Because they're now working straight out of school and they're exploiting the fact they have a car to leverage a girlfriend out of it. 31-year-old, and I agree, let's play that, that thought experiment out for a second. If the 31-year-old does like this 17-year-old, then, there are a few issues there, not least the disparity in emotional and mental development. And there's a power dynamics that won't change there. But, again, when you say he's everything I look for, if what you're looking for is someone who wants to go out with sub-18-year-old people, then you might need to change what you're looking for. Because if they're willing to do it, as Twayna says, they're probably going to do it again when you get a little bit too old, like when you leave college and you're past your prime to him. So chalk this up to someone you might have as a poster on your wall. We all had people we liked when we were adolescents growing up and thought, oh, I fancy that person. And the best part about it? It wasn't real. You just imagine it, and that keeps it safe. And you're probably better off finding someone near your own age who probably lusts after a 31-year-old themselves, but work it out together, find your way through, hash through it. And after a few of them, you'll probably be ready for something more serious. And that probably won't work out either, but you'll be emotionally resilient enough to get on with it. And you won't have, been getting on with some pervy guy who is way, way too old for you. That is our advice for that. I think we've sorted that one out, Twayna. Let's move on. Next trouble. I just can't cope with the school holidays. I find them so stressful. I have to juggle them all by myself because my partner has a job where he has to be in the office, whereas I work remotely and from home. Except I can hardly work at all because the kids are such a handful. Not only are the holidays too expensive to go anywhere fun, but all the museums, play centres, parks and cinemas near us are crowded and overwhelming and unbearable. The kids get bored quickly and I feel guilty if I don't take them out or plan something fun for them to do every day. I feel bad that they end up slobbing around in front of the TV while I'm trying to have meetings with my team on Zoom. And I worry that when their teacher asks them at the start of school what everybody did during half term, mine will say nothing. While their classmates were away skiing or something even more exotic. What do you reckon about this one, Twayna?
I think this person needs to have a sit down with their partner and plan, because this person sounds really, really stressed, and I actually feel a bit sorry for them because they sound like they're a single parent in a 2-parent household, and somebody should be helping them sort of take the load, so to speak. So maybe your partner can take some annual leave in the old bit of school holiday. Can't do it all year on, or I don't know, drop the kids off at his work and spend the day on your own doing your Zooms, doing your work. I don't know. Sounds a bit. I'm not a parent, so there's only so much interest and sympathy I can give to this, to be honest. I mean, you decided to have kids. I don't really need to hear this grumbling, do I? Look, I mean, I don't have kids, so I mean, my time and my money is my own. So yeah. What else?
Don't make your problem my problem, okay? I've not made that choice.
And the trouble shared, all the parenting stuff, I'll give it a little bit, but then it's over to Johnny because, like, I don't have the time or the energy for it. I've got my own issues.
Me? I don't give a shit about school holidays. Go on holiday when I want. Could care less.
I've had my school holidays as a kid, yeah.
Same as anything. No, I have a lot of sympathies here. The one thing I would say, and you are right, but whatever way your family does it, there will often, obviously there's not one size fits all, but there will often be some kind of breadwinner, or not even necessarily about money, but it's about someone who has a more stable, solid 9-to-5 situation. And therefore your work might not be, equal with regards to how much help the other person can do. What you said about taking time off to help with the kids and stuff, though, is completely, it's completely on the nose, especially if this person is working full time. And I do think that one of the things that I do think does happen is when there's this situation where, and I'm in this, where you do all of the school pickups and things like that, it can just be assumed that it's then your responsibility to facilitate the childcare because you've done the levels of it as you, in day-to-day school time living. But no, it's a joint problem that you will both need to address. It's not just, crack on. All I do is think about my work. That's not how it should be. Outside of that, you might need to get your children involved in your work. You know what I mean? Can they walk around in the background of the Zoom? Like, maybe they could be like, doing sign language for anyone, at the bottom of your screen or something like that. Incorporate them, maybe a little improvised dance. If not, maybe you could get them working on chores around the house. You know what I mean? Like, borderline start up a new business. Use their labor. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. You know what I mean? Get them baking some cookies or whatever else, so you can get them out front, selling them, or lemon juice, lemonade, whatever. So there's plenty of ways where you could exploit your children during the school holidays, which would be best for everyone. But don't let this problem be something that you have to suffer with alone. Incorporate your husband or whatever into this as well, because it shouldn't all be on you. And by the way, don't feel so guilty about your kids coming in there and saying what they've been up to during the holidays. Nothing. They've all been up to nothing. Do you know what I mean? Do you think everyone's going off skiing somewhere even more exotic? Have a laugh. Do you know what I mean? No one wants to burn a good holiday with their kids. They're like, they would have gone to a local UK holiday and then the parents hollybob off when they get the chance free from them. So don't feel too guilty. And largely, as long as your kids are loved and cared for, it is what it is. It's just about making it through. So there we go. Sorted out. On to the next one.
I recently read my husband's WhatsApp conversation with a group of 10 of his friends, which I realised was a complete breach of trust. What I read horrified me. They made nasty, homophobic comments about one of my siblings, and my husband didn't intervene. He has told me in the past that he knows his friend's banter is extreme, but it isn't banter, it's hate speech, and also about a member of our family. I haven't told my husband I've seen the comments because I know I was wrong to look. I can't tell anyone what I've read for fear of them disliking him. The theme of making horrible comments about my siblings has been ongoing, and there have been other disturbing things happen in the group, e.g. sharing naked photos of women they are dating without their consent. It's making me question whether I really know him. We have been married for 3 years, and he is kind, generous, protective, and makes me feel loved. Our day-to-day life is happy, but this is a big issue for me. Johnny, this is a big one.
It is a big one. And it's made more complicated by the way that you gain this information, because ultimately you've gone down your husband's phone looking at messages, and that is a breach of trust. And he could genuinely look at it and go, no, I'm done with you. Some people could break up over this stuff unless there was some reason that you were like, I needed to go down because I had good evidence that you were cheating or something. You can't start going down looking people's phones unless they've let you. And so, ultimately, unless you've seen stuff that your husband is sharing himself, that has made you really put the brakes on, then there's a little bit of a balancing act with regards to how you approach this. Ultimately, you don't like some of his friends now because you don't like the way that they converse, even though, and some of it, I'm in WhatsApp groups, friendship groups where things can be chalked up to banter that, in a day of light probably are not acceptable really, or I wouldn't let pass. But you don't really know the dynamics of it. Some of it is ironic with between friendship groups. So you are going from the outside and passing a judgmental eye over it without not necessarily knowing the context. And guess what? Maybe your husband's mates are dickheads, but they are also his mates. So it's a tricky situation to kind of navigate unless you were to get some other, evidence or information gathered that was not done through betraying your husband's trust. I think you're going to have to largely bite this one. But you can also say, you could bring up a hypothetical and say, Tracy was talking about her husband did this kind of stuff, and don't you think that's bad? And then bring that onto the subject and see how he would deal with it. But I don't think you can be too scornful over it, because if you just say, "Oh, I'm really having trouble with this, I want to have it out with you," then he's got every right to go, "No, you should never have done that." And I don't think you're going to get a person who is going along with what you say and here to help, because of the nature of the way that you procured that information in the first place. Do you get where I'm coming from on that one, Twayna?
I do, actually. And also I'm just sitting there thinking, this person's obviously bothered by what they've read, because it does sound like, there's obviously the homophobic comments made about her sibling, which is obviously upsetting. And then there's she also doesn't really like the nude stuff, like the nudes, like sending pictures of people, which in a normal situation, you have every right to be annoyed and horrified by this. But the fact is, like you said, you found this stuff out by looking in somebody else's phone, and it's. Unless he gave you permission to look in his phone, which he probably didn't. So you've been dishonest. You've come across. So basically, the problem for this person seems to be they found some stuff out which has upset them, but they can't actually tell anybody that it's upset them, because they've actually done something equally wrong. This is what this is. So it's just like, I'm upset. I can't actually tell him why I'm upset about something, because actually I've done something equally problematic. Whereas she's not said that he's shared any pictures, but he's in a group where this has happened. He's also in a group where somebody said something and he's not said, "Oi, shut up." He's blah blah. He's just let it go. So she's like, yeah, she's just a bit like. I think this is a bit like. I think she just needs to go and suck this up, to be honest. Mm-hmm. Unless she wants to really upend. By the sounds of it, a nice, he makes you feel blah, blah, blah. And maybe he's not the person that you think he is, but then is anybody really the person that they think they are? Everybody's phones and everybody's whatever's everyone's conversations with their friends, or the conversations in WhatsApp groups. I'm not saying that we're all fucking sharing stuff that would put us in the Epstein files. We're not that, but we can all be dickheads. Do you know what I mean? And this just sounds like your husband with his mates is being a dickhead. But also, you can't tell him that you know that, because you've looked at his phone, because you've also been in this situation of being a dickhead. So
exactly,
you're gonna have to deal with this. I think this person is just literally gonna have to deal with this, and that's it. There's you're gonna have to live with that decision.
The thing is you just because of the nature of how you procured the information, you can't get the context you need to be. And you can't take the
moral high ground. You can't take the moral high ground.
But what I mean is, you could take the moral high ground on some mates who are sharing naked photos of girls without them knowing. But do you definitely know that they didn't know? Or have you just assumed? Because maybe that they were aware of it, or maybe one way or another, you don't know. And if you were to start throwing your weight around on that, then the reality of the fact that you should have even seen this stuff comes to light, and then you could end up seriously with egg on your face. The other fact is, you're clearly going to hold some resentment to some of these friends that you can attribute these messages to. But, in terms of your husband, he didn't react to the homophobic comments about your sibling in the way that you'd want. But you just don't know. You don't know the kind of the world that he's operating in. And as you said, Twayna, everyone is entitled to their own private personal space where they can be a different kind of person. And if he was joining in on those on that abuse, that's something different. But if he's not, and he's not responded the way you want, well, then you suck it up, because he's allowed that space and you just don't know the context of everything. So unfortunately, the way you've secured your evidence is not right. What you needed is to maybe hire a PI, someone who could just blend in the background like Twayna Mayne, who wears non-offensive attire, and you'll never even know she's there. So yeah, that's that. I think we nailed that one, haven't we? Might have to suck this one up. On to the next trouble. My daughter has recently split from her boyfriend. We were the family he never had, and I miss him terribly. For the past 5 years, he has spent Christmas with us. My daughter tells me this year she has invited a new boyfriend who not any of us are keen on, and she also insists I am not to invite her ex, who is still in love with her. I am so upset as I know he will have nowhere to go, won't receive any presents, and feels disowned by us. Plus, the new boyfriend has a huge family and isn't even keen on coming to ours. I am now beginning to dread Christmas. Would very much appreciate your advice. What do you reckon about this?
Why are we doing Christmas troubles in March?
Yeah, well, this is it. They're planning early.
Well, so your daughter's got a new boyfriend. Okay, you don't like. Well, you can't have the old boyfriend over for Christmas. You can't really. That's your daughter's. They've split up. That relationship's over. I'm sorry. You got to move on. She's moved on. You all need to move on. And her new boyfriend might sound like, he doesn't even want to come to yours. So maybe don't encourage him to come to yours then. If he doesn't really want to come, if you don't really like the new boyfriend, maybe just have a Christmas without your daughter and her partner. Just have, maybe if it's you, and I assume this is a parent, so your parent and your partner, maybe away from your daughter. But yeah, there's not much advice I can give. Also, as I said, it's March. Your daughter might split up with this guy and get back with the ex. So there's still chance. Yeah, Johnny?
There's still a chance to salvage Christmas, yeah. No, look, first of all, you've made it quite clear that you like the old boyfriend and not the new one, and maybe when you say he doesn't even want to come to ours, any reasons why that might be? Maybe you're walking to the door with a picture of a framed picture of the old boyfriend in your hand, like...
We loved Kevin. Kevin was great. What's your name again, Steve? What is your name again?
Exactly. Who's this guy? Shorter than the other one.
Yeah.
Come on in
funny,
anyway. You'll do.
Okay, come in. Yeah. Vegetarian, you said? Oh, well.
Oh, don't sit in that chair. That's Kevin's.
Yeah.
He'll come back anytime soon. Yeah.
We really loved him.
But no, it just brings up that kind of notion that when you get with someone and you obviously get married and stuff, eventually you become a part of that family. That has to be the aim, that both ways you become a part and you merge families. And so this is one of those parts where some of the locking mechanism has worked, but the major vital function of the primary bond has broken down. So it's like the family are fully ready to embrace this person, but guess what? Your daughter don't love him anymore, so it's over. And you can't force her to go back to a guy she doesn't love because she's moved on. And what I would say is don't cast this new guy aside because of your long-standing love for the new one. You might even be able to carry on a little family fling on the side where, you can have him round and feed him up. You know what I mean? Maybe give him his presents on another date. Ruffle his hair.
It's not really over yet. Maybe.
Yeah, but the reality is your daughter gets to choose who she wants to be with, and you're not going to be able to change it because you the family like the other one more. So don't try and burn any bridges because it could make life complicated for everyone.
And also don't hate on this guy because maybe he's not the one for it. He might just be like the transition. He might just be the guy in the middle that she's moving on to the next person who really is going to be better than the first one and the true love of her life. So yeah, don't, because if you'll hate on him, then she'll love him even more. So like, be a bit more like, yeah, we love him. He's brilliant. Do you know what I mean?
But more to the point, he might be the one. The whole point is just like when you break up a relationship yourselves, you can't see what's in front of you with the next person that comes along, and you're kind of like, oh no, they're not right because they don't match up to the last partner. But actually, they got a lot of stuff to offer, and maybe if you give this guy a chance, he might actually end up being something a little bit better. And just keep giving them wellness checks to their previous boyfriend. Make sure he's okay. Maybe send him a food parcel every now and then. Sorted that one out. Let's move on. Final trouble.
My partner and I have been together for 2 years, and I could not be more in love with her. We spend our days laughing until our stomachs hurt. The problem is she is 36 and a recovering gambling addict, while I am 24 and have just recently graduated. She has accumulated several years of debt from friends, family, and loan sharks. I naively lent her almost £2,000 from my savings at the beginning of our relationship. She told me at the time she needed to pay her rent, but I've since found out she gambled it away. Despite the fact that I earn less than her, she consistently runs out of money halfway through the month. I end up paying joint expenses. She pays me back, so other than the initial £2,000, which she has not yet started to pay back, I don't end up out of pocket for too long. However, it's beginning to get me down.
Well, that's understandable, isn't it? I mean, it's, at the end of the day, you've I just love the way this person laid it out. She's 36, recovering gambling addict. I'm 24, just graduated. So like they're comparable,
different, slightly different life stages.
Yeah, she went to the University of Ladbrokes. I went to the exactly. No, there is a lot to be said for the first opening gambit, where it's like you're in love with her and you spend your days laughing till your stomach hurt. Don't assume that there are loads of people in life that can make you feel that way. There's not. There are some people that you'll get on with, but the people that you really gel with, they're not, wildly plentiful. I also believe that people should have the opportunity to, make mistakes and get their lives back on track. So if she has made serious changes in her life to be able to move past it, then why in the world would you give this up? And if anything, if it sounds like you're properly in love with her, maybe you could help her out. But you do not sound like someone who's got loads of money to throw bad money after good in this situation. And £2,000 is quite hefty. But I would say that you would need to lay out some boundaries and parameters to make sure that she is away from that, not gambling anymore, and so therefore going to be a more reliable partner to you. And if that's the case, then why wouldn't you continue this? But if she looks like she's going to, keep relapsing and being such a volatile character, then that might have to be, that is something that you're going to have to factor into the equation of whether you want to stay with her and keep committing more time to her, because your time is precious as well. And, behavior can take a long time to change sometimes. So it's really up to what she's showing you. What do you reckon,
Twayna? She's accumulated several years of debt from friends, family, and loan sharks. Loan sharks are always a bit of a problem. She sounds like she's doing her best. It sounds like the pair of them are doing their best, to be honest. And they sound like they're happy together. But she's an addict. And sometimes addicts need professional help. And so you've not mentioned whether she is any kind of recovery, or if she's sort of managing her own recovery herself. And by the sounds of it, it sounds like she's doing her best, but not quite managing, because you're having to step in the middle of the month to pay out. And you're still concerned about this couple of grand that you've lent her that she's not managed to pay back. And maybe she's not going to pay back until she figures out how to deal with money and how to stop gambling. So maybe it's time for her to go and do a bit of Gamblers Anonymous and sort out this addiction once and for all. Because these two people, Johnny, like, we've done this now for a while. We are professionals in the world of problems. And there's some people where you're like, just split up. This sounds dreadful. But this sounds like actually there's a lot going for this. And people go out with addicts, and addicts can live healthy, happy lives. That's if they're managing their addiction. It just sounds like this person needs to manage her addiction. And I think if she can do that, then these two have got, they can just carry on having laughs together and having a great time.
Every chance. I agree. And just on that note that you did mention rightly, the keyword loan sharks there.
Yeah.
Now, if you are in debt with a loan shark, I don't know, never been in one. But if you are in debt to a loan shark, they will take that debt out on people's kneecaps. And if they don't want to do it to a lady, for instance, they might go for a nearest and dearest or loved one. So, yeah, you have been laughing till your stomach's hurt, but will you laugh till your kneecaps hurt when they've been smashed off with a sledgehammer because the money's not been paid? Do factor that into your decision, but don't get rid of her too soon. You know what I mean? Just say, look, are my kneecaps safe? If she's honest with you and she's told you why she's in recovery, then keep it going. If not, factor that into your decision. But either way, be happy. I like the idea of laughing till your stomach hurts. It's good though, isn't it? I like it when that happens. Well, that's it, Twayna. Another round of problems, completely knocked out of the park. Remember, if you do want any of your problems solved, write in on our socials, get a little private message. You can remain anonymous if you want, at @Cochrane or at Twayna Mayne. If you're liking this podcast, tell people about it, share it with people, get more people involved. That would make us feel warm inside and have us laugh until our stomachs hurt. Apart from that, we'll be back after the next A Trouble Shared with solving more of your troubles. So all that's left for me to do is say a trouble shared is a trouble halved. Bye-bye.